If you have been struggling with the personal dilemma, the question of how can I utilize AI and automation in my business in order to increase the homeless population as I decrease the human headcount in my business, there might be a better question for you to be asking. Now, of course, if you have people just clocking in and stealing company time, that's a different scenario. But if we have hardworking individuals, how can we ask the question, how can AI improve the results that are already generating the revenue that this business is generating, right? How can we amplify those results? How can we make the team's day easier, more effective, take away some repetitive tasks away from the computer, engage more with clients and customers, maybe even see some smiling faces around the office if that's what type of culture you want for your business, right? Everybody's learning that they don't have to work the fifth 16-hour day in a row. That would be a cool feeling to experience, I'd say. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Shane. I'm coming to you live from the OpsGuardIQ headquarters, aka my home office. I'm no multi-millionaire. I'm not preparing to sell you a course by the end of this video or even offer my services. I'm just a man on a mission to help businesses connect with their actual target audience, as well as to make that process for the lead and the prospect of engaging with the business a little bit easier through some trust building methods and processes, building authority, things of that nature, just to give it a little bit more, give them a little bit more reassurance that they're actually making the right decision going with the business at hand. Right now, for the past 6 to 8 months, I have been diving deep into the world of AI, and I have been learning a lot of lessons, wasting a lot of time doing the wrong things, wasting money as I'm doing the wrong things. And I want to share some of those insights that I have acquired along the way. So hopefully you will not have to experience the same thing. Now, to get to the point of the video, I personally believe as businesses, we have a great opportunity to amplify the results that we are already generating, right? I personally have yet to meet somebody who has been eliminated by AI and sent to the street to not be able to provide for their family. Of course, a lot of businesses, depending on the market, depending on the industry, may have some roles and some jobs where it's inevitable that AI is going to replace certain fields and certain jobs. But for the most part, there are a lot of roles where human interaction is necessary for the buyer's experience, right? For the customer journey. Actually, I say this as a nerd. Uh, I was going through a customer optimization experience report, and contrary to popular belief, people do not like being sold to by AI, even having their problems to be solved by AI, which leads to customer support. A lot of businesses like to have their customer support handled by AI for some reason, which is turning out to be not the right thing to do because people don't want to have their problems solved by AI. They want to talk to an actual person, which leads me actually to something I learned, which I have on a note card. I like to write down on note cards when I learn things. It helps me actually memorize it. There's so many points of information nowadays. It's hard to memorize things unless I'm actually writing it down. EPOCH. It's actually a framework describing the human capabilities that AI is struggling to replicate. EPOCH: empathy, presence, opinion, strong one, creativity, and hope. The creativity part is turning out to be very detrimental for many people who are working towards implementing AI to take over creative roles, writing content pieces, writing websites, things of that nature. It's very easy to pick out when a AI robot has written a website or an email or sent a text message, right? Whatever the case may be, just simply because they lack those human capabilities. Hope, creativity, right? Opinions. You can clearly tell when AI is giving an opinion versus a human who is actually articulating their thoughts. So that is playing a huge role in why customer support bots are not being seen to be as successful as expected, as well as sales bots, right? Having somebody call for a sales call. It's not ideal. People don't want to be sold to by AI. They actually want to maintain that human interaction. Now, on the flip side, it's not to cancel AI out completely when interacting with a customer or a client right through that buyer's journey. People actually don't mind when AI is handling the appointment scheduling or rescheduling, as well as order confirmations or shipping confirmations, sending out some reminders, right? Small things that don't require a lot of human feelings and emotions to go into it. So there are some areas where AI is okay in the mind of the consumer, but there are others where humans actually want to be interacting with other humans. Now, there is that does kind of lead to one of my main points, right? Which is, in my opinion, I strongly believe the best use for AI is to keep it leveraged internally, helping the team with repetitive tasks, things that happen on a daily basis, very similar to every single time something is being executed. It's very similar if it's the first time, if it's the 10th time, or the 100th time, the 1000th time, right? Very similar. That's a very easy thing for AI or automation to handle. If there are a lot of creative things being involved and there's not a lot of case studies to fill the AI with for a knowledge base or a prompt, and the AI can't really replicate what is actually being asked for it to produce, those creative tasks like running ads, building sales pages, right? They can be started with AI, but it's best to have that human in the loop step. So I personally believe there's a lot of signs out there where we may want to lean towards keeping AI on an internal function versus client facing, customer facing, lead facing, prospect facing, whatever the case may be. So I do want to dive into an example that I thought of. It's very nerdy. This is a little bit of an extreme example. It's not a simple thing to set up, but it is what is possible with AI. Now, this is great for, if you're into tracking data and keeping tabs on how well the customer experience is, where are we losing, where are we winning, right, in terms of closing deals. But I do want to first start off with one of the major lessons that I learned, which is it's best to automate or put AI in place for a process that is already running successfully with a human, right? Being done manually. And unfortunately, there has been a great framework that was articulated by Elon Musk and his team. Alex Hormozy even put up his take on it recently, and it's called the algorithm. It essentially says that, right? You don't want to automate something that isn't being done manually right now, simply because there are a lot of different variables that come into AI. And if there are differences from or variations in between every single time you're running that automation or that AI system that you did not prepare for or expect, it won't work. It'll just shut down. It'll just stop. It won't work because you didn't prepare for it. You don't have a manual process for it to replicate off of. You just had a great idea, right? Which was my problem. I had a lot of great ideas, wanted to put AI and automation into everything that wasn't even necessary after I built the AI or the automation. I didn't need it. I wasted time when I could have been doing high leverage impact actions to grow my business and push it forward, right? So, a big thing you want to stick away from if you are working towards diving into the world of AI, or maybe you feel like you're stuck in AI because nothing is working as you expected it to, it might be because you aren't replicating a successful manual process. And I want to go back. I said, unfortunately, there was a great framework articulated simply because I didn't become aware of it. Unfortunately, I didn't become aware of it until I already learned the lesson. I was already learning the lesson. Don't automate or AI something that isn't running successfully manually. And I have it written down, just like EPOCH. I have something else written down I'm going to talk about, but I actually have it right here to go over. It's pretty straightforward. It actually is being applied to a lot of things in my life, right? How I'm just operating on a daily basis simply because you know, automation, AI works best when it is off of something manual. So if I am doing anything on a daily basis, I want to go through this process, honestly, even without automating. So I'm just going to dive into it. 5 steps, very simple. Before you automate anything, think about this. Step 1, question all of the requirements of the process, the method that you are preparing to automate or just put in place, right? Why does X, Y, and Z need to happen? Is there a better approach? Who told us that we need to do it this way? How do they know that we need to do it this way? I'm taking a little bit of Alex Hormozi's take from it and applying it to this as well, but the overarching framework is from Elon Musk and his team, which is called the algorithm. You can actually look it up, just keep it on your notes, whatever the case may be. After the requirements are questioned, pretty obvious moving forward, delete what is unnecessary. What we just got done questioning, what can we remove, right? What can we get rid of? Something that I like to think about is a great thing to look at with this framework is an onboarding process, right? It may be thought that we can automate the onboarding process, right? Which is a pretty good starting point if you're automating something. Is there too many steps? Is it 2 hours long? Does it need to be 2 hours long? Is there 30 pages that need to be questioned or have answers to? Do we need to have those questions answered? All of them, right? Because you have somebody going through potentially the pain of change, right? They are either going to be going through the pain of staying the same or going with you and going through the pain of change, right? So we want to make it as efficient, as simple as possible. If there are unnecessary steps in the onboarding experience, what are they going to think about moving forward, right? So step 3, after what is unnecessary has been deleted, right? And if we accidentally delete or remove something that we find that was not unnecessary, right? We did actually need it. The cool thing is we could probably just add it back. If we know that it was needed, we probably remember it. Probably pretty simple to add it back, right? Step 3, optimize and simplify. Already the questions have been questioned, right? The requirements have been questioned. The unnecessary steps have been deleted. Pretty simple to start just optimizing what's left. Make it as simple as possible. The complexity and the confusing things never beat clear and concise. Clear and concise always wins. Whatever is simple and easy to understand will always beat the overcomplicated 2 hour long presentation that could have been just an email, right? So optimize and simplify. An easy mistake and a big time waster that anybody can make is optimizing something that does not even need to be there in the first place. Step 4, right in order, make sense, speed up the timelines, tighten deadlines, improve delivery speeds, fix bottlenecks as they arise. We just want to be executing everything we have in place as fast and effective as possible, right? We don't want to be just working off of bottlenecks and just letting everything fall out of whack. We only want to speed it up if we have it nailed. And then step 5, if we can, we automate, we put some AI into it. Now, there are, again, a lot of AI horror stories out there, servers being wiped, databases being cleared, businesses are being just left empty. They don't know what is going on. The AI did something that was not expected. I'm willing to bet a lot of it is coming from the lack of this process or this framework being followed, or there's no manual success story that it can replicate off of. Somebody just had a thought, they put it into action with the AI and the automation and just let it run. Of course, that can happen. It's very easy for that to happen. If you hire somebody and you don't give them the correct instructions, it's probably easy for them to make a mistake. It's the same with AI and automation. If we just do what makes sense, common sense, right? Just give it some rules, some frameworks, some prompts for it to do the exact same thing that we want it to every single time. The AI and the automation won't just go out and do whatever it wants. So yeah, that's my take on it, on the horror stories out there. If we just apply this framework to it, it'll be very easy for AI and automation to do what you actually want it to do. Now, onto the example that I have. How can AI amplify the team's current workload, right? We can put it into place where repetitive tasks are happening on a daily basis, connecting tools, APIs, some technical things go into play, but it is able to be done, right? So it's very business oriented. My example here, if you are for some reason watching the video and you don't run a business, or you're not even interested in running a business, and you haven't found out or you haven't caught on that this is a very business oriented video, you might be wasting your time if you continue. But it's pretty cool what AI can do. So for the three, I wanted to go over three different pillars: acquisition and retention. Big in business, right? We want to acquire, we want to retain, operational workflows, we want to get stuff done, and data tracking. My personal favorite, right? Making data driven decisions. Because what else are we going to make decisions on? Just feelings and random thoughts? I don't think so. So let's dive into it. Acquisition and retention. Two big parts of acquisition and retention: churn and monthly deals. If we have our churn and we have our monthly deals, we can also find what is known as our steady state. And again, I did write this down on a note card when I was beginning my little entrepreneurship journey. Steady state. It's essentially the number of clients that you're going to hit and never get away from if you maintain the same churn as well as the same monthly deals. uh, exactly. So if we have a churn of 5%, for example, I have it written down. If we have a churn of 5% and we're acquiring 10 clients on a monthly basis, and we never increase or decrease our churn, we never increase or decrease how many monthly closes we're making, we're going to eventually hit the number of clients of 200 potentially if we are striving to hit that many clients. And when we do hit 200, we will see that the churn equals the monthly closes, because 5% of 200 is 10. So every month we acquire 10 and we maintain that 5% churn rate, we will be just simply in a loop of gaining 10 and losing 10, and we won't understand it because we don't realize that our churn is just equaling out or balancing out what we're acquiring. So that would be pretty cool and detrimental to the growth if we are tracking that. Moving on to the operational workflow, a big point of the customer journey is what is known as the first point of satisfaction. When are we delivering the value first, right? It doesn't have to be the full dream outcome. When is somebody happy going with your business? The first point of satisfaction. If we're tracking that on a bit on a strict basis, right? Every single client, when are they seeing their value, right, delivered? We can narrow it down and improve it, right? And then of course we have handoff workflows, client briefings, as well as prospect briefings, which can add up to the prospect or to the first point of satisfaction, simply because we are sticking to the communications, right? So for example, if we are running a training business, physical training business, and we have one trainer who is out for the night and we don't have any type of handoff workflow, we don't know what their clients are going through. We don't know if their bench press max is 225 or 315. We don't know if their squat is one plate or two plates. We don't know if their deadlift is amazing and they're deadlifting 500 pounds, right? We don't know these things. We need to go in and ask questions. But if we do have something like this, we can go in, everything prepped, just start running however it's normally operated, and the process is a lot smoother. So that can be applied to literally any business, I think, as long as there are two people, one to hand off to another. Client briefings, prospect briefings can be utilized for sales processes, right? The setter talking to the closer, or the front desk talking to the owner, just handing off notes, and it's not just a repeat of what was already asked the first conversation in the second conversation. It's just like you know each other, and it's a great process, right? Something I like. I like it when I'm taking on something and I'm talking to somebody who talked to the first person that I talked to, right? The worst sales experiences that I have gone through are the ones where there's clearly no communication between the team and it's just slow and it doesn't make any sense, right? We already talked about this. Why didn't you just take notes? Just take notes, and then we can just pick up and get the process moving. Now, on to onto the data tracking. I think this personally, I think this is the greatest equation in business, at least one of them, top five, which is some financial modeling, right? If we have a goal, MRR, we want to add some monthly recurring revenue. Let's say we want to add on $10,000. We can reverse engineer every single metric we need to hit and maintain in order to achieve it. Realistically, we can see if our goal is realistic. Is it aggressive? Is it conservative? Should we be pushing more, right? And with all of this data behind it, if we are looking at all of this data behind it, we can see that this stuff will be successful, right? Our churn is good. Our monthly deals are good. We can hit it. Now we go down, right? If we have an AOV, average order value of $250, and we have a goal of $10,000, divide the two, and we'll find that we need 40 additional deals a month to add on that $10,000. And we can take it much further, right? If we know our close rate, and this is our actual close rate, these are our actual metrics. I one take all my videos. I don't have the time to learn editing, and I haven't found an editor yet, so apologies for the stuttering. if we if we know our close rate and our actual close rate, we can divide the deals needed by that close rate, right? 40 divided by 0.75, and find the calls needed. We need 54 calls with maintaining that close rate of 75% to hit the deals needed, right? And then we can take it further. If we know our show rate of 60%, we can take 53.3 being the calls needed divided by 0.60 and find how many bookings need to take place, which would be 89. And to take it further, we can see our booking rate of 20%, 89 divided by 0.20 equals 445 leads. A lot, yeah, it sounds like a lot. So where can we improve? We can look at all these metrics before setting this in place and start improving things, which is pretty cool. And you can take it even further. You can add in your ad spend. How much does it cost? What is your CAC? What does it cost to get a lead? All those numbers can play into it, and you can actually see if your goal is achievable. And then what if we have a centralized hub where all of this is taking place? Everything is connected with APIs or whatever the case may be, just some JSON or some JavaScript, just sending off data. Maybe you're typing, your team is just texting it, whatever the case may be, and showing you everything is up to standards, and you don't have to flip through 15 different tools and subscriptions, which is something that I like to do. I like to see when I have the free time if there is a subscription that I'm using, some type of service, some monthly service that I'm using that I can work on to eliminate paying them and just bring it in-house, so everything is just running in-house, right? For example, my scraping system, completely in-house, my content engine, completely in-house. So they're great when you have the time to build it and the know-how to build it. You don't need a crazy amount of skills, believe it or not, to work with AI. You actually don't need to be a genius, believe it or not, or a rocket scientist. You can do it as long as you can sit down and just do it. So that's all I got. Hopefully this provided some type of value to you. Hopefully it wasn't too nerdy. I am not. I am aware that I am a little bit of a nerd. So if you're into some math and some studies and some insights on AI from this guy moving forward, you can hit subscribe or like the video. I guess I'm new to this content game still, so I don't really know what you're gonna do to stick with it. But yeah, I'll keep the videos coming. That's all I got. I got some work to do. You probably got some work to do. We're gonna leave it here, and I will be back with some other things eventually. OpsGuardIQ.